Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you as always for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapachet, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you so much. We always appreciate you guys stopping by and listening to us yap about the inner workings and ongoings of our beloved sport of professional boxing and the business of boxing oftentimes, because we do dip into that inside and outside of the ring, whatever the hell has to do with it, because this is a relatively slow news week. I mean, when there ain't jack to talk about, we're gonna figure out some stuff to talk about, and we're gonna make a stretch. So, thank you as always for joining us. We appreciate you guys just stopping by and listen to us yap. Before we get to all the good stuff, because there was plenty of stuff, everything from Floyd to Shakur. Trust me, we're gonna talk about it. Andrew, what's happening, dude? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Miguel? Um, what I do this weekend? We stood home. Oh yeah, today I was a mechanic. This weekend I was a mechanic.
Oh,
I had to work on the car. I had to work on the house.
your
I was,
car?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I was supposed to go somewhere.
Oh,
Uh,
where were you supposed to go to? The gym?
Yeah, had a fundraiser I was supposed to attend.
Oh,
Then that ended up not happening because of the
mm.
damn mechanic, the mechanical issues that I was having. It sucked.
What
I
did you
got
end
it
up having?
done.
What was the problem? What was the problem with your car?
The door handle broke. All right, so we had a child lock on Natalia's door,
Uh-huh.
and then the handle broke on the outside,
Oh shit. Okay.
so we couldn't open the door at all.
Oh, not even from the. Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah,
Jeez, not from
so
the inside or the outside. Okay.
or the outside. So we kind of had to like. Christina got it done. To be
Mm,
honest with you, she's the one that got it finally to pop open. Um, but we had to get it from the outside. We had to
mm,
jimmy rig something to get it from the outside. It just could not. I tried taking off the door panel from the inside. Then
mm,
I realized it was all for nothing. The door panel is inside the frame, of
mm.
the door needs to be open for the panel to come off, basically.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Okay.
Then I had to take off the other panel to see how the mechanism worked, right? Because I'm not a mechanic. I don't really do door handles every day.
Mm.
So then I took off the other panel just to see what the hell was going on with the one that worked. So now, now I have the broken one. Oh, when she opened it up, it was a thing of beauty, man. Holy smokes! I was ready. I was ready to call it quits, dude. I'd been on it for my while. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
she goes, "You can thank me." I said, "Oh, thank you, Jesus. Yes, thank you, babe. Thank you, babe." So yeah, we got that done. Then I did some work on the house, and that was it, man. Stood around the house, no boxing. Kind of weird. You think that we'd take the opportunity to take off, right? When there's no boxing.
Hmm.
There we are. The things needed to get done.
Yeah, that's
Natalia's
that's
getting,
usually how it works.
yeah, she's getting older. She needed to get out of that door at some point. At first, it was like, she did. We don't want her to open it anyways. Fucking leave
Yeah.
it. I had this nice silver sticker I put over the handle. It's like it looks fine. I'm out of
Yeah.
here.
Oh man, you,
Looks
you had
good.
you had to MacGyver that thing open.
Yeah, it looks good for my work van. Talk to you later, baby.
Yeah, peace. Like I'm sure she can handle it for now. Yeah, that's usually how that works out. It's like the weekends that there ain't any fights. They're like, damn, I got nothing else to do. Shit, nothing else coming up. Because I swear every other time that there is something to do, there's some fights. And I'm like that. Staying home watching fights. Now it's like anybody has plans. Oh fuck, nobody has plans. I guess
For
not
the
even Jesus.
for the first time, totally forgot Floyd Mayweather was fighting. I'm sorry, Floyd. I guess you're of that age now. You're
Yes, yes. Let's
just
let's get into that because my brother-in-law told me too. He came over. We had my brother-in-law, and my sister. They came over for dinner yesterday, as a matter of fact. And we sat down, and they're vegan, so my mom made him like a vegan dish. I was eating some other stuff, but we sat down, we're eating, and my brother-in-law was like, "Hey, what did Floyd fight? Or is he gonna fight?" I'm like, uh, "You can say fight, I guess. A glorified sparring session, we can call it." But yeah, this was yesterday, and I started going over the rundown, right? And they were like, "What the fuck?" And even my sister was like, "What the hell? What's that?" And I'm like, he probably is in trouble with the IRS. That's what we suspect. He needs to pay off some fucking debts. Dude needs some money, and he's doing that." And to his credit, that arena looked pretty full. They did a pretty good job of turning off the lights off, where the crowd is at, so couldn't see how far the crowd went. But everything else looked pretty damn full. At least everything closer to the ring. But uh, let's talk about this debacle that was on Saturday. Floyd Mayweather had an exhibition, right? Exhibition rematch, I suppose we can call it, with John. Is it John Gotti the third? This is the first name, right? John.
Yeah. The
Who I did
mob. Can you just say
uh,
the mob?
the mob. Well, the mob's grandson, we'll say, because I don't know how involved he actually is, but the mob's grandson, who apparently has a couple of MMA fights. I had no fucking clue. I didn't even know how he was popular or famous, or how in the motherfuck did Floyd even choose him. But ultimately, when they were showing highlights of him in the cage with some MMA gloves, I'm like, what? He's actually fought? I had no idea who, like, what. I thought he was a reality TV star. Honestly, I don't know who the fuck
Right.
he was. He's probably an episode of like Jersey Shore or some shit,
Right.
for all I know. So apparently he has
What was
some
that? Mob
interesting.
Housewives? What was that? Remember that show? You ever seen that one?
No, no.
That was a weird show. Mob Housewives or something.
How did you watch it? What was?
Ah, my wife. My
Oh,
wife.
jeez. Well, yeah, I should have known.
We've seen a
Uh,
few episodes. It was interesting for a little bit. Then they kind of got on your nerves, right? They're just a little bit too hard. You know what I'm saying? Everything was like, my man will kill you. It's like, okay, calm down. Your dude's doing life. Okay, you got you guys in the hole somewhere.
yeah. Yeah, I don't. I can only watch those shows for so long. It's like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm losing brain cells every time I watch those damn shows. So, and I've had to watch a few. I've had to watch them, and I'm like halfway, watching like 90 Day Fiance, and I'm like, I'm just this. Please stop. So yeah. So apparently, John Gotti. Here we go, and they did 8 2-minute rounds for this sparring session. It didn't start off on the right foot. It seemed as though John Gotti kept um, complaining to the referee that Floyd was hitting them on the back of the head or the top of the head or some shit. Anyway, you're supposed to protect yourself at all times, right? So while he's over here doing this, Floyd is still landing. Floyd is still throwing. He's like, I don't give a fuck until the referee stops in. Steps in. I'm throwing punches. So Gotti's trying to like complain to the ref while he's getting punched, right? He's like doing this like clinch around his head kind of thing up against the ropes, and he does that a few times to the point where it almost seems as though the referee begins to believe him or something. So then he starts like reprimanding or like scolding Floyd about it. I don't remember if this is the first or second round, but it happened a few times, and then eventually Floyd. It seemed as though the referee was probably getting too involved in the match, and we're like, dude, just let these fuckers fight, just let them go at it. So he kept like approaching Floyd and saying like doing one of these things or something, right? And Floyd's like, dude, no, and he's trying to do this. I'm cupping behind the glove or something, catch him in the ear, something like that. And basically to the point where Floyd is like, I don't remember if Floyd like smacks his hand out of the way or just be like, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, and I don't know. If you read the headlines, it'll say that Floyd said that he's fired, but I don't know if he actually said those things. But regardless, he does one of these things like, hey, get out of here, kind of thing. So, and the, the referee puts his hands up and is like, okay. So he leaves. So he fucking leaves. And then another referee steps in, right? Mid round, mind you, mid round. And then they start, at this point, they're trying to separate them because now people from their corners are starting to come in, right? Floyd goes to the neutral corner. I think he goes to his corner, and somebody steps into the ring to kind of cool things down because we're about to have another squabble like their first fight. So, another rumble, like they say it in the Outsiders movie, Time to Rumble. So everything, cooler heads prevail. Everything calms down, right? And then even Floyd kind of laughs a little bit and kind of like, a little dig at Gotti. And then they get going with the new ref. So they go the rest of the match, right? Or the rest of the, exhibition. Oh, by the way, on the undercard was Victor Ortiz. Just kind of show you, in an exhibition himself. No wins, right? It's not like there's judges or scorecards or anything like that. It's just an exhibition. So anyway, so that completes, right. There's no winner. It's just for the sake of, I don't know, people watching Floyd in the ring. My dad watched, came because there was a UFC card that night as well. So I'm like watching the Floyd fight on my desktop while I'm watching ESPN Plus and the UFC card. And my dad's like, why are you watching this? The Floyd fight. I'm like, Dad, we're gonna talk about this. Trust me, we're gonna talk about his financial troubles on the show. So he's like, I guess. So he's like, who the hell would pay for this? Good question. I didn't know. I don't even know if there's a pay-per-view number or a pay-per-view price on it. I should have didn't order it, but good lord, it was bad. But
Miguel,
yes,
you're a diehard, bro.
I'm a diehard.
Because you're the only one that I know that even watched the thing, bro.
I watched it. I wanted to see. It's one of those like train wrecks you just can't turn away from. That's ultimately what it came down to. But yeah, Floyd. I was gonna say Floyd got himself a victory, but there's no real win. Um, I don't know how much these guys were paid. I don't know how much the pay-per-view was. I don't know how much tickets were. All I know is that it was in Mexico, and very, very few people here in the U.S. knew it even happened. So,
Like all of them.
yeah.
Seriously, it's like all of his. If you get past McGregor, everything else. Oh, and you know what? The Paul kid, didn't he fight Paul's brother?
Yeah, Logan Paul. Yeah, yeah.
Logan Paul. It
Mhm.
might not have done that good, but I think people still were at least aware that that fight was taking place that night.
Mm.
So besides those two, I don't think anyone's ever, he hasn't made noise with any of these other ones that he's done over in Japan or now here in Mexico. Um, Look, I know the website to go to watch it for free. You give it to me. I still didn't.
Like I got a damn
hey,
car handle to fix.
and I believe I did the right decision. I mean, seriously, come on, you guys. The highlight of this fight is the changing of a referee. So I keep watching this changing of the ref, right? Mid-round. And I'm like, okay, it looks, I didn't know if it was real or fake. Yeah, I really didn't. Floyd is the worst at talking shit in the ring. He just never seems, he seems like he's not, he just seems phony to me. And so did that night, it did. And then when they get back into it, you think, all right, well, at least they're going to give us some exciting moments, right? They got into a little heated disagreement. Ref got changed. All right, let's go. Let's bang it out. They don't show one fucking highlight after the second round. On any of the highlights, Miguel, there's nothing after that second round where, I mean, even when Mike Tyson bit Evander, it was a big moment when they came back together, right? I mean, remember, Evander comes out hot as shit, throwing down.
Mm.
I know these are two old guys. Gotti, I don't even know. I don't even know who the fuck he is. He might not even be related to the mob boss guy. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I really don't know. I just see Gotti and I'm like, yep, mob guy.
It's good. It's like Muhammad Ali's grandson that has to hyphenate his last name. The crowd is like, your name is hyphenated. It's like, no, just remove that. Yeah, remove it. Even though it's really hyphenated. Oh, God.
So I don't know who the hell that dude is. Floyd, I'm just waiting for him to sell his O. Seriously. I got no interest in these exhibitions. Is he coming back or is he not? Because right away the first few articles that hit the web is like, oh, Floyd looked sharp. Floyd looked this. Yeah, it's like, I'm so over that.
Mhm.
I'm so over it. Rest in peace, Lee. He called the Mayweather Pacquiao fight like fucking 10 years ago. Or what is it, 9 years? And we're still having it. It's been 9 years. Like, are we doing this or not? Or are we just gonna expect you to be? I don't even know what these are. I have no idea what these are. I don't know who pays for this shit, Miguel. I swear to God, when he fought that little, what was it, a little kickboxer over there in Japan, it did. Uh-oh. Miguel's having a medical
Sorry, I had a sneeze.
emergency.
Anyway, go ahead. Just had a sneeze. Yes. He had a
When
10
he,
his name was. Yeah.
yeah, it did nothing for his career. It's not like we've seen that guy come back to America and, like, you know what I mean? Fucking make a name for himself. Who the hell paid for that? Who gave Floyd that money to go over there and beat some no one that we still haven't heard of ever since? It's we think he's hurting for money. He then looks like he buys a plane. Remember, he posts
Right,
that.
the jet.
And he literally says it's because motherfuckers say I ran out of money, he buys a plane. I don't know if that's the smartest business move, but okay.
Yeah, that might be the reason you're in the situation to begin with. Like somebody calls you broke, and then you just feel the need to go out and buy some $8 million watch. It's like, no, I don't think that's how it works. I don't know. I mean, I hope it works out for you, but the way things are going and the rumors that we're hearing, clearly you don't have the best decision.
Yeah. So he buys a plane to prove everyone he's not broke, which is cool. So then why are you doing these? I don't get it. Because it's not even bringing down your legacy, but it's doing nothing for him. I have no idea. Is he hurting that much for the spotlight that he needs some kind of fucking anything for him just to have that feeling of walking to the ring? You know what I mean? Maybe that's the drive he has, is just the lights, dude, coming out of that curtain.
Well, the thing is, he still takes the light. If you watch the times that he's been in the ring or in the corner of Gervonta, like he comes into the ring and he's being interviewed. You know what I'm saying? So he's still taking the limelight. It's just
No,
not
but
the
I'm
exact
saying I'm
same.
saying him fighting under the lights though, bro. The whole walkout, the whole feel.
Mm.
Maybe it's the nervous walk that you have to the ring that he's addicted to, right? Not knowing what's gonna happen or some shit. He doesn't want to be in the stands. He wants to be the guy in the line of fire. We watched it happen with, I'm telling you, and it's not even the same because Floyd's doing exhibitions, but he's not walking away, right? Just walk away. You had it all. Yeah, don't fuck around and get hurt doing one of these things, and then we're gonna hear that you were set for life, and now you got brain damage because you just were addicted to the lights.
Well,
Um,
keep in mind he's not fighting like legitimate dudes. So
he's
how
not,
much,
but fighting's
like
not a
what?
game, right? We if
Right,
it
right.
is so, if we're gonna keep saying that for everybody else, it should matter to Floyd, a 45-year-old Floyd too. It's not like Floyd's reflexes are the same either. We've all watched him train. He's not the same. The
That's right.
speed isn't there. The guy doing the mitts, sometimes it's a guy now. So now it looks like sometimes it's a girl doing mitts for him. They're playing patty cake more than ever now. I mean, it's really bad. It's like, yeesh. It's that. It's not the Muhammad Ali shaking on the speed bag yet, but it's getting pretty clear. It's like Floyd, man, that's pretty slow.
Mm.
Pop, 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 pop,
Yeah,
pop, 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 pop. Like, oh my God, bro, what are we doing here? You know, all of his corner men are like, man, just hope we get this money. Just
yeah,
so
exactly. It's like, I'm here because I'm getting paid, so
yeah.
that's all that matters.
They, I think the guy doing the pads is doing most of the work
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
He's beating them more than halfway.
Floyd is just turning the wrist like,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
like, all right. I suppose if that's what fucking sells, gets videos going. Because the thing is, realistically, I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with it. Is him missing the spotlight and trying to get back into the limelight, because anytime he posts a video of him on a treadmill, every media outlet is like, oh, is he coming back, is he coming back?
Yeah.
It's like he's just fucking going out for a jog.
We did
So
it for years too. We did
yeah,
it for years too.
we fell for it. We fell
Yeah.
for it, right? But at this point, it's like, bro, that's enough. I'm sure that has something to do with it. I don't think it's the only reason. I'm sure it has to be that son of a bitch is hurting for money. It has to be that, because he's obviously not doing these things for free, and he's not putting them out like on free TV either. So clearly, he's charging for tickets, charging for pay-per-view, charging whatever this shit. So it's not like he's just doing these things for free. It's because he's trying to collect a paycheck. With as little risk as possible, finding these type of exhibition fights, if we're going to call them that, sparring sessions really. But limelight is part of it, I'm sure, because I think he just can't come to terms with his time being over. Father Time is undefeated. You stay in the
Yeah.
game long enough, you're gonna get fucked up. So it's probably, Floyd did what everybody wants to do: get in the sport of boxing to make as much money, take as little damage as possible, and bounce. All right, he did it. He got us all. He robbed the bank. Whatever. All right, go fade on to the sunset. Make it a good fucking story. Make it a good ending. Leave things alone. You come back, things are gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna end up getting hurt to some degree. You're probably gonna get a broken nose that you probably never had before, and now it's just never gonna be the same, or something worse. So
Or just the
it's a lot.
accumulation of punches. It could just be the accumulation of punches. A slow bleeder that started opening up more or got more damage as you kept taking punches to your head. Doesn't have to be hard blows, just and they never stopped. It's been 25 years of you doing sparring, man. You got to stop, like something like that. It's a punch can go wrong, right? Do you want Floyd to have a fucked up eye out off a sparring match, right? You went your whole professional career, you're a pretty boy Floyd, you kept your face cool the whole, now at 47, you had a freak accident inside sparring while you're getting ready to fight some fucking kid for a few dollars. You just don't want any of this to happen, right?
Hmm.
If he can walk away. I think now people need to ask Floyd, what's your end game? what's the end to this? What are we doing here? Because you've been doing this now for a few years. Your opponents aren't getting any better. To be honest with you, Jake Paul is fucking miles ahead of you in this little exhibition platform thing that you guys got going here. He made a whole career off fighting MMA guys. Floyd should have did that. You know how much money Floyd would have did if he did Jake Paul's thing right out the gate, right after he retired? Well, and he sort of started with McGregor, won't lie. Big payday, huge payday. I think in a different UFC time, he would have kept it going. I don't think the names, there's not too many McGregors. I know UFC, you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah. There's very few superstars. There are stars, I'm not going to say there aren't, but they're not superstars like Grizzly.
Yeah. And so he missed that train, right? Jake Paul's all over that train. He's riding that bitch. He's the fucking captain on that one. Is that what do you call the guy that runs the front of the damn it, my grandpa used to work on him too. I should know that answer.
I don't know.
He's right. He's driving that train. That's Jake Paul's train. So what else are we?
Choo-choo guy.
Yeah, choo-choo guy. We're terrible. You don't come here to learn things, people. You just come here to talk boxing.
Exactly.
And you guys fill in the gaps that we leave.
yeah, exactly. You guys give us. This isn't an educative show. Education of just for us to talk smack about sports. So please fill in the gaps because we don't know the guy. Is it even called driving? The drives the train? Is that what it is? I don't even know what the hell. It's like who's manning the train? I don't know. The guy who puts the coal in the damn thing. Is that even how they do it anymore?
That's what I was gonna say. Coal? No, that's not how they do it. They went coal. Where's it go? Coal to wood. Coal to wood to steam. Yeah. You got a whole bunch. All right, let's get back to boxing.
Education system, folks. But yes, Jake Paul is definitely driving that train or whatever Manny.
So the Manny angle is played out. I don't see that fight making a fucking dime if it was to happen today. I really don't. There's no one that would.
Another exhibition, you don't think?
No, and not the money that those two would be demanding still. You think Manny's coming in for $1 million? He's not. Right? He's gonna be like, I want 5 million, I want 10 million. Floyd's gonna be like, give me my 20. And they're gonna be like, all right, you guys are stupid. Who you guys think you are? 20 years old? Get out of here. You're done. Right? So I don't see them fighting again. The money's just not there, and nobody would care. Matter of fact, I think it would be more of a joke than it would be a fight at this point if they were to do it again. So that angle to me is gone. I don't see that.
You don't think they can trick the casuals? At least be like, because I mean, that's really realistically, we got the fight like 5 years or 6 years too late, right? I didn't order the damn thing. Somebody invited me to their house. I was like, all right, I'll go watch it. But I certainly was not interested in watching the fight that many years later. You don't think people are gonna see like just the way he did it with Jake Paul and himself? People know who they are. Name notoriety alone, even if it's not gonna be,
How about this? Stream it. If Netflix or Amazon can stream Floyd versus Manny 2, then it's a doable fight. Then it's huge. I will say that. But pay-per-view? Fuck no. $90 like they're charging for Canelo Berlanga? Not happening. It's not happening.
How about pay-per-view $45?
Yeah, but I mean at that, yes, but Miguel, I'm so fucking intrigued by these streaming numbers that I think boxing could turn the whole sport around. I really think that's what's going to save our sport, is to show how many houses would watch this if you were able to plug boxing in for free on a streaming app with that many.
On the big streaming apps.
On the big streaming apps.
The ESPN Plus, they're there already, but we're talking Netflix, we're talking
and Amazon
Prime. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm really, so yeah, I would instead of doing a $45 thing, try to take that fight over there. And Floyd, if you're listening, I don't know why you haven't tried this already, or if maybe they are talking about it. We'll hear it later, but that should be already, that's what one of the platforms that are trying to get involved in boxing, that's who they should be trying to get right now is to see if Floyd will come and do a fight for them. And if it would be Manny Pacquiao too, as an exhibition. That's a great, I mean, look, I was in on Tyson at fucking 65 or 6. How old is that man? I'm like, hey, I think
56. I think 56.
56. All right. I think people will watch him. I mean, I think definitely people will come back to watch Pacquiao versus Floyd for free on a Saturday night. Fuck yeah.
Would it be a good idea to maybe potentially wait until after Tyson Jake Paul to see what kind of numbers those are before maybe Floyd and Manny start thinking about something like that? Like, because that's kind of what we're waiting for, right? Because Tyson's gonna
Well,
have everything. Huh?
they would probably have to. I don't see this happening tomorrow.
Well, yeah, right. But I mean, like, I'm talking about actually making the choice to do something like that, to do something like Amazon Prime or to do something like Netflix, to get some sort of base from that first. Obviously, they're going to wait for that to happen in general. But I'm saying, as of right now, I mean, this is just hypothetical because we don't even know if Floyd and Manny is even going to happen, even in an exhibition bout. We don't even know that's going that direction. But if that is the direction that there's talks already, and potentially them leaning towards Netflix or leaning towards Amazon Prime until after Jake Paul does his shit with Tyson to see what kind of numbers they get, to be like, all right, well, maybe if they do poor numbers, then they're like, okay, no, fuck it, we're just gonna do pay-per-view the way we thought we were gonna do anyway. Or if they do great numbers, like, oh shit, okay, cool, let's go ahead and strike while the iron's hot and let's hop on Netflix and or Amazon Prime or something. Like, will the numbers of Tyson and Jake Paul potentially determine
Of
where Floyd and
course.
Manny end up?
Well, where Floyd ends up.
Or Floyd ends
Listen,
up.
I think where Floyd ends up, because I really think there's a platform for Floyd here more than Pacquiao. I think Floyd draws more attention right now because of his undefeated record, because he beat Manny, right? I mean, there's a lot of Manny fans still, but then there's a lot of casuals that are like, yeah, but Floyd, I had Floyd winning that fight before that night, and that just proved that Floyd would always have whooped him. That's how they see that Pacquiao fight. It would have been worse if Manny would have fought him earlier. Is kind of the way they lean towards now when they talk about the two.
Right.
So if I'm Netflix, I'm looking at if Tyson and Jake Paul do good enough numbers. And it might sound stupid, but we just asked Terrence Crawford to move up 3 divisions to fight fucking Saul. So why not Floyd and Jake get it on? In a real fight. I'm talking Floyd, you don't hold nothing back, dude. That man's going to outweigh you by like 70 pounds. He's on steroids, everything else. But you know what? He's not you. You're fucking Floyd Mayweather. You're the baddest fucking fighter that ever laced up gloves. Do you really think Floyd thinks that kid can beat him? I don't. Beat Floyd Mayweather? I don't think Floyd thinks that at all.
Mhm.
So why not try to do a big fight like that, like a real legit? This is all the eggs are in the basket here for Jake Paul. If he wins this, he will be considered a legit boxer, and that's kind of what I think Jake Paul wants that title more than he wants a regular title. I just think he would want to be accepted by the boxing world, right? And that would be his accepted moment right there. And it would be a big business move for both of them,
Sure.
right? Here we're talking a huge payday if this played out for Netflix. So if I'm Netflix and I see Floyd doing all these exhibition fights everywhere, we know he can't be making that much money. What do they say? Kick the tires on the car or whatever, just to see where they're at. Where are we going? How
Yeah.
much would it take? You know what I mean? Throw us a number. We'll go sit down and talk to the board. Come back, see if we can do it. If so, Netflix they have something going there. They would have the Jake Paul Floyd Mayweather build up, right? They could do
Mhm.
both fights, do warm up fights, whatnot, and then have a big showdown in a year or so. That's where I'm leaning more towards Floyd Mayweather. The Manny fight's a great fight if they could get that for one of Floyd's fight on the platform. But I wouldn't just be, if I'm Netflix, I'm looking at just like DAZN should have done. They should be trying to get Floyd's last few fights. That's a good starter when you're trying to do something new, create something new content. It's a good job to have the number one guy in that platform.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Do you think they would be like, how much interest do you think they would have? And I say they, I mean like Netflix or Amazon Prime. Um, because here's the thing. Let's just say that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson does great numbers. They're gonna want to go back to the well, obviously, but they're gonna want to go back with most likely Jake Paul. He's the one that's younger. He's got a lot more, he's got fewer miles on the odometer. How interested do you think they would be in a Floyd fight especially considering the fucking debacle that happened, last weekend, or this last weekend, or the first fight with Gotti where shit went out of hand and people started coming into the ring and stuff like that. Do you think they would even be interested? Like, do they think, well, we got our own little, golden goose laying the golden eggs with Jake Paul. We don't give two fucks about Floyd at all.
I'm trying to look up what the numbers were for Mike Tyson when he fought on Fox. I wanted the legit number. I want to say it was above 25 million homes tuned in, dude. And then we're talking 1995 when this happened. Boxing holds some of the biggest live gates the sports world has ever seen. Boxing holds some of the largest bought pay-per-views the sports world has ever seen. Basically, when we're just kind of going up against the MMA, really. WWE's there. They're more entertainment. Football never really made it in the pay-per-view world. So I think like I said, this is like my last ditch effort to save the sport. But I think it can be, Miguel. I really do think there are certain fights, the blockbuster fights would draw crazy numbers on a streaming app like Amazon or
on Netflix.
Netflix.
I found the numbers for it. It says,
all right.
Buster Matthews Saturday night from Philadelphia drew a national Nielsen rating of 16.1 with a 28 share. I'm not sure what that means, but it says Fox said its research showed that more than 43 million people viewed that fight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Fucking crazy.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need to see, right? And then maybe someone will want to invest. Someone big will want to invest. Someone besides Saudi Arabia too, because I think we've all seen where that where that platform will be headed. It's going to be headed towards Saudi Arabia. It's going to be headed towards you do whatever the fuck he says, or you could hit the road, And if he buys out everyone, that's exactly how it would be. You'd probably be looking for a new job because it seems like the guy don't like no, and he'll just cut you out. Like he's rich enough where he don't need people, man. There's no one that he needs. You know what I mean? You either fucking sign to what.
But he does, no? I mean, like I guess he, and we talked about this before, having the deep pockets isn't a sure thing, a guaranteed thing. He needs people in the circle that know what the fuck they're doing, because he doesn't know. Clearly doesn't know shit. Just based off of one of his previous posts, so asking like, "Hey guys, what are the top 10 fights you guys
What I mean by that, not to cut you off, but just to come back real fast. What I mean by that is there's not one face that saves this sport. He'll step over anyone. I'm not talking about the promoters. I'm talking about the fighter. I'm talking about Terrence Crawford, right? We knew that man was the baddest dude for the last 8 years, probably since he beat Jeff Horn, right? Yet doesn't get his shot until how long later, right? Just blackballed, really didn't stop the sport, didn't help us, but it didn't stop it either. You look at someone like Teofimo Lopez that I keep bringing up, another great name, great fighter, should have way more bigger fights on the horizon than he does. No one's even talking about it. They'll step right over you, right? And the ball keeps moving. That's what now. Does he want to do this to everyone? No. But do you want to be the first fighter that challenges him? I don't want to be that guy either, because your ass might be at the bus stop and you're like, fuck, I wasn't that big. No, you weren't, dude. The ball always keeps rolling, So until he ruins a face like a De La Hoya or a Sugar Ray Leonard, someone who's transcending, for the era, then he'll mess up. Unfortunately, I don't think Zoo's that guy. I don't think Canelo at this age is that guy, right? So he could step over these guys and not have an issue with it. So that's what I mean, not about getting rid of the promoters, because you're absolutely right. He looks like he just likes putting the pieces together of stories he already knows, right? He hasn't created a fighter on his own and then made it. He hasn't made a super fight. He's just putting super fights together on things that are already out there. So I get that on your side. I don't know how that's going to work. I guess salaries. I think one way, and if I'm a promoter with big pockets, I guess I walk away and get into another sport. But would it be salaries that takes over De La Hoya's percentages and Eddie Hearn's and all these promoters that would get a percentage of the pie? Maybe now it's like, no, you're just gonna make 250,000 a year. Give me some fighters. I'll give you so much money, right? What's your stable worth? I'll give you whatever you're worth per year. You go out and make fights, and then I'll see what's left at the end. What I want to do the next year. Maybe it's something like that, right? Where they're still involved, but there's not enough money in the pot, Miguel, to go around for everyone to be getting percentages, in my opinion. And with him being the deepest pockets, I don't think he's even going to do that anyways. So the small guy, boxing will change to like maybe your Bernard Hopkins and your Shane Mosleys. Remember all those promoters that were involved but didn't have real deep boxing? Zab Judah might all of a sudden become a bigger promoter under the Saudi Arabia Fund Trust or whatever the fuck this company's called. He's stuff like that, because then they're working for salaries. They're not, but people like Oscar and Bob will be like, fucking full of shit. I'm out of here. He'll go to a retirement home finally. No, because even Oscar said it, man. Oscar said it the other day on that Shay interview. I think it's Shay. What is Shannon Sharp? Yeah. He goes, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does. He's 95 plus years old, dude, still everywhere. And it's fucking crazy. And he's into the interviews. He knows what he's saying, right? He's still clicking, man. And he's that old. And then they're in fucking Japan. They're in the fucking UK. Yeah. Like, these are 17-hour, 14-hour flights, dude. I know he's probably on all the medications and everything, but still, just give the man his props, man. That dude is doing it. But he's not going to be doing it that much longer. I don't see him being a yes man to anyone. Not for no salary. He's out. But that to me would be like the change that I see coming. Seriously, Al Heyman would still work. I'm being dead serious. I don't think his pockets are that big. He might be a millionaire or whatnot, but I don't think he'd be like, all right, I'm out of here. I think PBC would still work under this same banner that these guys are trying. It sounds like he's trying to create. So that's one way to keep some of the promoters. Back in the day, who were the promoters that would have stayed that are like who is it? Lou Duva?
Lou
DiBella. Someone like that, right?
Or he like would Gary Shaw or some shit.
Yes. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They would stay in. They would stay in totally. They just change with the times. Hopefully we'd get back to a time where promoters could get their hands back on the sport. But as of right now, they fucked themselves, man. They were all greedy. They all took off from HBO. Oh, fuck HBO. We don't want to give you a better deal. We're going to follow Al Heyman. He has all the money. Yeah, how did that work out for us? We really shot ourselves in the foot thinking that we spread it out too far. There was way too many platforms we were on. People just got lost in fucking boxing, trying to find boxing on a Saturday night. We definitely need a platform that is already on. Just HBO is everything, man. HBO is fucking everything. They could put on a new release right before a fight. Oh, look, 3 million people watch Spider-Man right before the HBO After Dark. Now you got 3 million people who are just at least watching the build-up to the fight. Doesn't mean they're going to stay on it, but they at least seen, hey, look at these two guys, right? We really shot ourselves in the foot. We're seeing the effects of that right now as we're kind of scraping for dollars here in this sport. It really is. The pay-per-views have all been underperforming. Now it sounds like their payouts just aren't, my guy Terrence is only making 2.5 million.
Oh man.
What the fuck?
That shit hurts me to see that.
It hurts to say it, man, because he's the face of the sport. That's like, it's like you being like, yeah, Tom Brady made 2.5 million last year in football. No, he didn't. You know what I mean? And then we know about Saul and we know about Benavidez and Tank not doing great numbers. Those are two of the biggest names on the same pay-per-view card. On the same card, they didn't do fucking 500,000 buys. What? I thought Benavidez was like the Mexican monster, and I thought Mexicans fucking ran this sport. And I know they do. I'm just saying how bad it is right now, right?
Mm.
Or maybe how out of touch we are with the Mexican fan base. Maybe Benavidez isn't as popular as we gave him credit for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because Ryan Garcia sure seemed to do great numbers.
It's funny that you brought up the card because that's a nice little segue into the official announcement of Canelo and Berlanga and
There
that
you go.
card. All right, we're looking at Rolly Romero. He's back. I'm not familiar with the James guy or the Jaimes guy. I'm not familiar with who that guy is, but apparently he's fighting that guy. Let's see here, Manuel James. I have to do some research because I don't know who the
Yeah,
fuck that guy is, but he's in there.
right.
Right? Right. Then we got Caleb Plant taking on Trevor McCumbee. I've watched McCumbee fight a few times. I think it was on a few top rank cards, but he's going to take on Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant is back. Apparently, this is going to be for the interim WBA super middleweight title. So I guess add another belt on there. Yes, it's interim, but what does this mean? Plant wins and gets another crack at Canelo? I don't know. I don't know if that's the direction we're going to go on that. I also want the pay-per-view card. Laura, Aries line is Laura taking on Danny Garcia. This is for the WBA middleweight championship. This is the co-main event on the card. And then lastly, Canelo and Berlanga. So Rolly's back. He's pretty entertaining to watch. It's good. It's a good pay-per-view opener, I would say. I'm down with him
Do
opening
you
up the
have the
pay-per-view.
record? Do you have the boxing records of the opponents?
Not quickly, but I'm sure I can pull it up. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe they were on the announcement that you're going
Oh,
off of.
let me see. Um, no, it just have the little images. It's on the PBC thing. It doesn't
Gotcha.
even really
Gotcha.
specify the actual thing. But nonetheless, I mean, if we need to pull it up, I can definitely pull it up. But yeah. So far, so that Rolly, cool, okay. I'm not familiar with the other dude, and it's gonna be a 10 rounder, right? No interim belts. I'm fine with that. At super lightweight, 140 pounds, and then of course Plant and McCumbee on the second fight to be the super middleweight. That one's going to be a 12 rounder. Also, Laura Garcia is going to be a 12 rounder. I mean, scheduled for 12 rounds, I should say. So 4 fights on a pay-per-view card. Chances are, PBC does this, and this is something that every fight people, any promoter does. They'll have some sort of free fights early in the day, either on their Facebook page or on their YouTube channel. The promoter's going to have free fights, the early prelims. So chances are we're going to get some more fights there, of course. But what do you think about that pay-per-view card? I've seen. I mean, I don't know. So I've pulled it up on the PBC Instagram page, and under there, all the comments, people, and maybe it's just the PBC zombies again, but they all seem to be on board. They're like, oh, that's gonna be a pretty good card. All right, it's gonna be a stat card. It's gonna be a good one that we've had in a while. Am I tripping? It's gonna be an okay card, but I mean, like, again, we have Canelo at the main event, of course, and there's where the majority of the money is gonna go. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm a little, I'm a cynic or something. But what do you think about this card, Andrew? Is it alright, or am I maybe true? Because I'm not too thrilled about it, but maybe it's better than most. Fuck, I don't know.
I liked how it started, and I was trying to find the damn records of the guys I'll give you my reason why. I liked how it started when it gave us Lara versus Garcia right out the gate, right? I was like, this is a good start.
Okay.
I don't like how it finished. I wish they would have gave us one other known fight where both fighters are kind of known. Caleb Plant's great, yes. I don't know his opponent. I hope he's undefeated. I hope
I
he's
don't.
like
I don't
a.
think he is. Well, let me start with the Rolly's opponent.
There you
16
go.
and one.
Not bad. That's not bad. What's the knockouts look like? 16-1 and
Let me go back here real quick. 16 and one with 11 KOs.
it's not bad. It's
More
decent.
than half. Yeah.
Yeah, when you see their two records on, at least that'll keep the casuals a little interested. If the Raleigh fans are there to watch the fight, at least he's got an opponent that is
Mm.
decent. Now, what about
Oh,
the Caleb?
okay. I stand corrected. The fight that I was thinking about was actually a no contest, so it wasn't considered a no contest. He is undefeated. 28 and 0, 21 KOs. All right.
For Caleb Plant's opponent?
For Caleb Plant's opponent, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice
Yeah.
opponent. Yeah,
I
because
pulled it
see,
up on BoxRec, so that's what they got it.
that's a good fight. Then yeah, so that's a good fight. That's good for the TV, the undefeated record. Caleb Plant's already known. And then you got Ward versus Lara. I like the card. It's not a
Garcia versus Cara.
Garcia, sorry. It's not a freaking Don King, throwback, but
Yeah.
very doable for the price that they're giving. At least they gave us 4 good fights. It's not fucking, to me those aren't showcases, right? Easily Raleigh could get defeated by a guy who's 16-1-11,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
that guy will be the new Raleigh Romero, right? He'll be 17-1 and whatever. And then on the other side, Caleb Plant's had a few shots. This is the biggest fight of McCubby. Is that how you say it?
McCumbee.
McCumbee. This is the biggest fight of his life. If he wins, that's a great record. I mean, that record's ready for a belt, especially with the Caleb Plant victory. Just hope he does has a not a controversial decision, but a good decision. You look for him to be in a title fight in his next one if he beats Caleb. So those are two.
This is an interim title fight, so that means something, I suppose, right?
That means it's going to be a title fight in his next,
yeah.
right? Because that's the interim means you're number one contender. So this fight is for the number 1 contender shot at what belt?
WBA.
WBA. All right. Yeah, because I don't like the WBC. I don't like the 2 title shit. Interim champs to me just means you're number 1 contender. We're gonna just say it like that, which is a great thing.
I mean, that is really what it means. It's just like you get a belt for being the number 1 contender, so it makes you feel special. But that's really like I've seen them even give him a fucking medal. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take the medal. That's it doesn't mean you're the fucking champ. So clearly, it's like only the champ should get a belt. I'm not gonna give you no goddamn strap, just because it's like. But yeah, WBA is like that. They do that. I mean, everyone does, right? WBC does a show all the time as well. It's not like they're the only ones that do that shit. But you are right. That basically means that. I mean, now, granted, how long? Because it's happened before. I mean, God knows we've talked about Dillian White for the longest time being interim. Number when mandatory.
Benavidez.
How fucking long Benavidez himself exactly. So yeah, whether or not he'll get a crack, who knows? But hey, I'm down. I didn't even realize McCumbie's record was that good because I remember watching him a few times and I'm like, all right, he's okay. I reckon that he has such a unique last name that I remember him because of that. But against Plant, former champ, and only 2 losses on his record against Benavidez and Canelo. Definitely no slouch. That's gonna be pretty. That's gonna be entertaining. Maybe that was good. Laura Garcia. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
If His Excellency is smart, he would do the losers of the 2 fights between Plant and Berlanga and Canelo. Make the losers fight each other in the next fight. I would love to see a Berlanga Caleb Plant fight still, even if they both lose. It's kind of weird they're using Caleb for this moment because he has so many open end fights with other guys. Why didn't they do the Charlo fight? Right? And like, where's Al Heyman at? Why isn't he done the Charlo Plant fight? Charlo Plant slapped his ass how long ago? You know what I mean? Like
over 2 years or 2 years roughly.
Yeah, so it's like, where's that? Why aren't we seeing that one? And then you would think he's in line to fight the winner, at least fight Berlanga, right? I wouldn't want to waste that fight. But if he loses, I still might want to see Berlanga have a comeback fight because I do have Berlanga as the underdog. I don't see him beating Canelo, so that would be a huge fight for Berlanga to come back with. It would be the Caleb Plant because they already have the history. So yeah, that's a decent card. It really is. Because then you have the Lara Garcia fight, and you have the Terrence Crawford tie to that one. I really think Terrence is going to try to take that title. If it just makes the best sense for him, especially because this is with His Excellency is putting all this together. It's an easy fight to go up, and that'd be Terrence Crawford's 5th weight division, and a legit champ too. If Lara beats Garcia, I know Garcia is not a full-blown middleweight, but that would be Lara's 4th title defense or something of the WBA middleweight title, and he has 3 knockouts. He's guy has totally turned his career around from this slick boxer to the knockout puncher in the middleweights. A few extra pounds. I don't know if that did it or if it was the opponents, but it's working. I would like to see Lara beat Garcia and get Lara because he has the Cuban ties right? See, we all know Cuban boxers, they're the respect that they get, right? So
Mhm.
so Terrence will get that going into that fight. He has the controversial decision against Canelo. Terrence can play off of that one. It just seems to me it's a better fight for Terrence Crawford right now than Danny. I love Danny to death. That Danny wins, so be it. They can do that fight over in Brooklyn and pack the house. But for legacy wise, I think Lara would do better for Terrence Crawford if he was to win. That'd be a pretty big moment for Terrence to go to middleweight and get a title. Yeah.
Yeah, to briefly answer your question, because you said it a few moments ago, I know you this is in the direction you're going, and that's not the direction that I want the conversation to go. But I want to throw this in here. You're like, where the hell is Al Heyman, right? When we were talking about it earlier in Plant. This is from August 13th on Rick Glazer's not Instagram, sorry, his Twitter or his X, whatever. It
Okay.
says, despite being MIA or missing in action since December 18th, 2023, I've been told by a reliable source that Al Heyman is alive, but his exact whereabouts is still unknown. The fact their uncle Al is alive will give many hope, especially those that Heyman reputedly owes big money to.
Wow.
So,
That
just
story still hasn't went away.
that story still hasn't gone away. Yeah, exactly. So, according to Rick Glazer and his sources, Al Heyman's still floating around somewhere. Where exactly, we don't know. But Uncle Al is kind of MIA. We need to put him on some fucking milk cartons or something like that, because home dude is gone. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there because you had asked that question earlier. Okay, back to the card. All right, we said it. It's a pretty decent card. Okay, $90 worth decent card. Uh,
Yeah, you got to be a Canelo fan at this moment to buy that. You really, I know there was a time when Chavez could put any price tag on the pay per view, and my family bought it. So I know Canelo has that fan base too. Um, but I don't see casuals doing $90 for that one. Um, I don't even know if it's dude. All right, so my plan was to go to Reno for the fight. I was gonna go check it out, Reno, make some bets on it, whatnot. Um,
where would you watch it? Like, do they have
Closed
like?
circuit. Well,
Oh,
see,
gotcha,
that's
gotcha, gotcha.
that's what I'm hoping.
Mm,
Closed circuit, right?
hmm.
But I've already gotten all my what is it called, promotions from the casinos. You know how they send them out every month, beginning of the month. Oh, come see what you can get
Do
next
they?
month.
I don't go to casinos that often.
All right.
I
Well,
know already.
they send us stuff
Okay.
in the mail all the time. Bro,
Okay.
there's nothing about the Canelo fight for September. So I told Christina to call them and ask, because remember I told you the last fight they didn't have out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was just out there for a fight and I went to the casino. They're like, no, we're not showing it. And I went all over and nobody was showing the boxing match. I'm like, you motherfuckers are gambling on it. There's an odd right there. What do you mean I can gamble on the fight and I can't even watch it? It
Mm.
didn't make any sense. I thought whatever was on the board had to be on the sports book too, or at least in the casino for you to watch, even a closed circuit or at the sports book. So they didn't have that fight. So she's gonna make a phone call to see if they're even doing closed circuit in Reno anymore for boxing. Maybe
Mm.
it's totally just gone with. Bro, that's where I used to go a lot when I was younger. I told you Mayweather, um, Castillo, I watched there. James Tony versus someone I watched in Reno. I just, I like gambling, and they
Sure.
always had closed circuit events for the fights.
So how does that work? Because I mean, I vaguely remember closed circuit, but my era was just pay per view, so I knew what the fuck pay per view was. Because I've gone during the time that the UFC was owned by the Fertitas, who owned the Station Casino chain. They would have the UFC cards at their little showrooms at their casinos, but sometimes it was free if it's a shitty card. Sometimes it was $10 a pop a head. You go there, right, $10, and you're in, you're watching the card. Is that how it is? Like you just
Yeah.
pay a fee and just go in there and watch the shit?
Yes. Yeah. For the one in Vegas, that's how it was. You go to a ballroom. There would be at ballrooms, Mandalay Bay, MGM Grand, all the casinos. Really, I watched the Pacquiao Mayweather at the Excalibur.
Mm,
Yeah, in that arena like thing. They
mm.
dropped some screens down and we all sat in there to watch that one. Um, but that's how it is in Reno too. Or they would just have it at the sports book, right? Where
But
in
they
the
would have it at
sports
the
book.
sports book, even though it's free. I mean, even though it's pay per view or closed circuit, because it's like you're
Some
watching it for free, basically.
some of the fights, yes. Some of the fights they would. Some they would make you pay though. But I think back then I could have swore there was a law, dude, that they had to show the fight if you were betting on it. I could. That's what I thought it used to be. That's what I thought the law was back in the day. But obviously, it's not right now because they weren't showing it the other day in Reno. And like I said, for this Canelo fight, you think it would say, Canelo, fucking block party or Canelo show party or something. You know what I mean? Come see closed circuit, Saul Alvarez, and also it'd be mariachis playing all fucking day, or because it's Mexican Independence
Oh
weekend. You
yeah.
think they would tie something up to that? You know what I mean? Like, let's keep this ball going. But I didn't see anything, so I'm gonna make a phone call. I'll have an answer for you
Yeah.
in the next show about if we're actually going to Reno. If they're not showing the fight, I'm not going, and I'm gonna tell them that too.
Especially since there's a UFC card that night too, right? So it's like they're gonna be competing with a UFC card. Wouldn't it be, in their best interest to fucking try to pull some shit like that off and do the
Yeah,
closed
see,
circuit? Might as well.
like that's another one that's interesting to see because the UFC puts on so many pay-per-views, man.
Well, they do so many events, but pay-per-view, as I know, is one a month, but they'll do a fuck ton of events. Like every
Well,
weekend there's a
Miguel,
UFC
that
card.
means 12 a year though.
Oh yeah, that's what you meant. A year, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Literally 12 a year.
it's
Yes.
still a lot. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? To make every one of those a closed circuit venue type deal, no, there's no way they're doing that.
No,
There's no
no,
way. So
definitely not.
I'm sure there's some of those UFCs are getting in the sports book for free, right? You'd think they would do enough numbers to make that people would be interested in gambling in it, but they don't do big enough numbers to be, hey, once a month we're gonna shut down the ballroom and open it up for closed circuit only. I don't think so. So that's somewhere you might be able to go to a sports book and ask if all UFCs are closed circuit pay-per-views, or do they show them on for free every once in a while on the sports book.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting because I would figure that that's what they would do for Canelo, especially with a fight that big, because they're not. What was Crawford and Majimov, right? Was the last pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken, the last
Miguel,
major pay-per-view.
doesn't it help the sport if the casino shows it for free? Doesn't it help the casino? If you literally tell gamblers we're showing Canelo here, Berlanga at the sports book for free, how many people do you think show up to gamble on that fight and watch it?
Yeah,
You,
I went to there as I mentioned earlier. The Fertitas, the who owned this chain of casinos called Station Casinos. There was one called Boulder Station. It's still there actually. Boulder Station. I went there to watch Floyd versus Baltimore. I went. That shit was fucking free. Just show up. They literally there's like different
oh, there you
bars, different
go.
little
There you
lounges,
go.
dude. We didn't gamble, but we fucking bought hella food. We bought hella fucking drinks. You know what I'm saying? So we spent some fucking money. We might as well have
Yep.
ordered the goddamn thing on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
But
no
regardless,
doubt.
that shit
No
was
doubt.
on one of those lounges. Boom. Floyd and fucking Baltimore. I'm like, all right, fuck yeah, let's watch me. It wasn't just me. It was like me, two, three other homies, two of their girls. Like it was a group, and that shit was on for free.
And,
And for as much as we spent on drinks and food, we might as well have fucking ordered it.
and here in Tracy, the bar. Remember when I used to go
Oh,
to the
that's right.
bar?
Yeah, yeah, you did tell me about
Yeah,
that.
there was no cover charge for that. You used to just walk in. You'd either buy food and drinks, but the fights were all over the bar for free. Yeah, and I watched a few pay-per-views there. That's where I watched all my PBC fights because I didn't want to buy them. I was all pissed off at those guys. But yeah, so there are certain cases where the fight is good enough to put on, but not. It's just not going to do enough numbers to put on a fucking event for it. So I think I'm hoping even if they did charge me to go watch Berlanga versus excuse me Canelo versus Berlanga, even if they charged, I would go and watch it and still in Reno and just pay the 25-30 bucks whatever they're going to charge me.
Mm.
Um, but
Or, as a matter of fact, I've been to a Buffalo Wild Wings. Do you guys have Buffalo Wild Wings up in
yeah,
Tracy?
yes,
So I
yes,
went to watch a UFC pay-per-view there, and they had a minimum on our order. So they were like,
there
you
you
can
go.
come and watch it for free, but you have to pay X amount of dollars a week, order a bunch of wings and fries and whatever the fuck. So same thing. We're there for free, but we did have to order a minimum that, or do that, something like
Yeah,
that. That's common.
yes, yep. So yeah, we will see here if Canelo still drives the needle in Reno, or
Mm.
if they're gonna say nope.
And it's Mexican Independence Day weekend. You know,
I know.
it's this thing. It's the Cinco de Mayo's and it's the
And
Mexican
there
weekend.
is something going on over there for that. There is a Latin fest or something during the night
Oh,
in Reno. Yeah, we did. That's why I'm kind of like questioning why. I'm like, why isn't there one fucking thing on here that says Canelo on this whole flyer? So, but there is a Latin fest going on. That's why Christina wanted to go. And then I was like, what's? And then when she told me the date, I was like, yeah, it's a no brainer. I'll go.
hmm.
Canelo fights Saturday night.
What spots do you go to? Like in Reno when the times that you have gone for fights?
We stay only at the Silver Legacy, El Dorado, and Circus Circus. So they have all three casinos tied into one, basically one building. So you can go to
Oh,
all three of them. And
oh,
yeah,
damn. Okay.
yeah, and that's kind of where me and Christina stay. I've been to the other casinos around in Reno, but I don't like driving. Right, once you start
Uh,
drinking, I don't like driving around the casino. So because they have three of them right there, I kind of just bounce around to those three. Maybe I'll walk across the street. They have some other littler casinos around the hotels. Um, uh, some of them have closed though. A lot of them have closed, but that's what it used to be. Just little ones around the casinos. The Nugget. What did they have? Harris, I think, used to be out there, but that's gone now.
hmm.
Um, they have this new one. It was the Sands, but now it's something different. That's walking distance. You could walk to that one. Just little things like that. But I stay in the big three: Legacy,
Hmm.
Circus Circus, and El Dorado.
And you can go from one to the other without actually going outside. This is just like a
Yeah.
sky bridge or
Yes.
something, or like a
It's all in one
escalator
building.
or some shit.
Yeah, you just have like a the strip. Just like a little walk. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a walkway. You got food, restaurants, clubs, um, casino. You can like Silver Legacy as you're walking to from El Dorado to Circus Circus. You're basically walking over Silver Legacy's gaming floor, so you can look down and see all the people gambling down at the Silver Legacy as you're walking over to Circus Circus. Yeah,
Hmm. All right, right on.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that is because
You
like
gotta look
here,
at my pictures, dude.
on Facebook or
On
Instagram?
Facebook, yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
I see that you post, but I mean, like, I'm rarely on Facebook, yo.
Every
Every so
once
often, I'm on Facebook.
every once in a while I'll drop a whole bunch of photos of Reno. I like Reno. I like
Yeah,
because
Reno's
it's
tight,
cool.
dude. I want to visit Reno. I've never actually been there. Considering I live in Nevada, I've actually never visited there myself. And like, I kind of want to go like during the summer or something like that because I want to drive there. I want to see like how it is because you can fly out there, of course. But I like driving. I enjoy road trips, and it's like driving to Reno. I've never been to Reno, and I've seen a bunch of cool like old school pictures of people taking pictures of next to that sign that says the littlest biggest town or whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah.
right? And it's like
Littlest biggest city.
snowing or some shit. Yeah, there you go, and it's like snowing and stuff. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I'm down. I've never actually been there myself, but that's definitely on the to-do list because I want to, and it has to be a road trip. I have to drive up down there because I don't want to. I'm okay with flying, but I would much prefer driving because it's just more fun for me.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm gonna think about that $90 price on fucking Canelo. I'll debate it, see how good that fucking undercard is, and see. I mean, we already know the undercard. Maybe it'll be okay. I don't know, but that's something that I've debated. Um, One of the other topics I wanted to touch on was, and this is kind of a two-tier, I guess, conversation, and I guess we can start off by one, Mr. Shakur Stevenson, who recently signed with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, which we kind of sort of saw coming, right? You mentioned it a few weeks ago when they were ringside, which I think was for Majimov and Crawford, where it
Oh
looks like
yeah.
his excellency was like asking Shakur a question about a fight or something, and was like trying to get an answer out of him right there. And for a quick second, Shakur was like, and he's like, "Come on, bro! Like, I need a fucking answer." It's like, hold on, let's talk. You mentioned it earlier. It seems as though His Excellency doesn't like no's. He likes to get the answer, the yeses, not just the answer, but the answer yes, quick. So we talked about Shakur and potentially Gervonta Davis and Gervonta kind of pressuring Shakur to hurry up and sign before he has any real, promotional representation. Well, now that time is done. It seems as though Shakur has signed with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, or Matchroom in general. But and from the sounds of things, it sounds like it's a one fight deal. All right. That seems a little sketch, but he's got he's got a one fight deal right with Matchroom, and he's gonna end up fighting this guy that I'm sort of familiar with, Joe Cordina. I've seen him fight before. I know he's fought at 130 before. He has fought at 135 at some point, but his primary weight class was 130, where he did hold the belt at one point. But that was recently, right? He was a champion as of recently at 130. So he lost the belt. He's going to move up to 135 to fight Shakur. So first and foremost, what are your thoughts on him signing with Matchroom?
He had to sign with someone. I think the fact that it's only a one fight deal kind of tells us where they were at negotiating, kind of nowhere, right? They couldn't sign him to a multi fight deal because they couldn't make a number. Probably they couldn't agree upon a number together. So they do this one fight deal to see if maybe His Excellency will beef up the next plot that he offers them. I don't, that what else could it be? Um, it's kind of sad that his name was being thrown around, matched up with everyone. We thought we were going to get this like super fight from Shakur right away. It went from I could have swore, didn't De La Hoya and His Excellency say him and Cepeda had already agreed? Yep. And yeah, they just needed names on the contracts basically. What the fuck happened to that one? Then you had him versus Tank. Nobody's even asking Tank, hey, so you fire Floyd, Leonard Ellerby's your CEO, and you literally dropped the ball on the first fight that you guys said you're going out there to get. Leonard Ellerby does not land the fight. No questions to Tank. We're just gonna let that one brush right off.
Yeah, we're just gonna right through that.
Thought you were the face of the sport. I don't know. Whatever. Thought Amazon gave you that big ass $35 million payday, and you're gonna be running shit. No, you ain't running shit. Anyways, I like picking on Leonard every once in a while. I liked it because Leonard used to be full of himself, man. That guy, you're a yes man, dude.
I think he still is. He still is full of himself. Yes.
Yeah, you're a yes man. What did Lee say? Got fired at a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Where did he get fired at? Church's Chicken. Where the fuck did Floyd fire his ass? But chicken and waffles. What the fuck is? Oh, you done? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, got the boot in front of everybody.
That was wrong. But anyways, they dropped the ball. Shakur is fighting no one. Shakur is fighting Eddie Hearn type of opponent. We said it, man.
That's exactly what came to mind. Yep. That this is Eddie Hearn's MO now. Sign a dude. He's got a plethora of English guys. Is like, all right, fool. You 135 or cool. Boom. Like that's literally what it is. Now, Cordina was undefeated prior to his most recent fight, which he did lose. He's 17-1 with 9 knockouts. Okay. And he lost. This was back in. Let's see here. It was back in May. So he just lost in May, and I believe he lost his belt. I think it was, what was it, IBF or something? As I'm pulling up here. Oh yeah, it was a IBF. It's an IBO, but no one gives a fuck about IBO. So IBF super featherweight belt. So anyway. That's that. He was a recent champion. He had defended it.
Who did he lose the belt to? Did we watch the fight? Did we cover it? Like, sometimes I lose these guys' names, and then as soon as I see them, I'm like, oh, I seen that fucking fight. Dude sucks.
Well, he got he got TKO'd. He was dropped in the 3rd round, according to BoxRec, and it was Anthony. I don't know if I can pronounce it right. Cacace. That's the last name. Cacace. But yeah, that's who he lost to, and that was the IBF belt that he lost to. So yeah, this was back in May. It said in Riyadh. What May was that? That wasn't the Canelo undercard, was it? I mean, when I'm trying to think of it, was no, because the Canelo undercard, the Canelo and Munguia fight was here in Vegas, so it wasn't there. But this was in Riyadh. So right offhand, I don't remember who was the main event on that card. I might have seen it. I might have to pull it up to remember it. But yeah, his last fight was back in May, a loss where he lost his belt and at 130. So that's his first loss. That I recognize his name and I recognize his face, but beyond that, It's just one of those things, it's like you sign with Matchroom, and the first person you're gonna get is, not a major fight or anything like that. Is basically again, it's his MO. He did it with Canelo, he did it with Berlanga, and he's gonna continue doing it, and he's doing it now with Shakur. Yeah, I'm not sure. He had to. We can establish that Shakur had to have signed with somebody, right? Because he was kind of floating around free agency, and things weren't really going in his direction. And from the looks of it, it's going to be a one fight deal. But that's what I wanted to ask you about first, because the second part of this question is a little weird. And mind you, I have no confirmation per se, but this is strange, and I wanted to bring this up. So apparently, Stevenson and Cordina is going to be the, I guess, co-main event of the Beterbiev and Bivol fight on in October, I believe is when it is, October. So yeah, October 12th in Riyadh. But listen to this weird shit. And again, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but check this out. I found this on Boxing News 24, which anybody who's anybody submits their stuff on there, so I don't know how accurate this shit is, but it just seems strange. The title of this article is "Boxing's Strange Split." Beterbiev versus Bivol on ESPN Plus. Stevenson versus Cordina headlines DAZN pay-per-view. What the fuck? Okay, so according to this, let me read it real quick. Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina will reportedly now headline DAZN pay-per-view's undercard event on October 12th in the Riyadh season event at the Kingdom Arena. The main event between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol will be on ESPN Plus. In other words, the card will be chopped up, and the co-main event undercard fight between Shakur and Cordina will now be headlining a DAZN pay-per-view. Fans must tune in to ESPN Plus to watch Beterbiev and Bivol, but DAZN pay-per-view to watch Cordina and Shakur Stevenson.
It's the dumbest fucking Miguel. If that's true, Shakur is leaving Eddie Hearn after one fight.
But he's headlining the pay-per-view.
Yeah, but bro, dude, that's gonna do. If all these other fights have only generated a few 100,000 buys, I can almost guarantee you Shakur is gonna be under 75,000. Under 75,000 buys. They better be ready for a real fucking, just a tremendous loss on this fight. That's the fight that's supposed to make someone buy a pay-per-view event, is him versus some English dude that we don't even fucking know, and he's coming off a loss,
and he's moving up in weight. Yeah, I don't get how, like, what's the thought process behind this?
There is.
How did they think this was going to be a good idea? You mentioned it earlier, how thin boxing has spread itself with so many different channels and streaming services. You have to watch it. Now this, this is kind of, I mean, not kind of, this is whack as fuck. Like, who would even? I would just watch ESPN Plus the whole fucking night. I don't give two rats ass about Shakur fighting Cordina
versus
so much. I mean, I'll watch it if it's on the undercard of the ESPN Plus. If it's not going to be that, now I don't know, because here's the thing. Sometimes DAZN will be free in some countries, but on pay-per-view in others. Like, is that going to be the case? Like, maybe in a different country, DAZN pay-per-view, that's how they watch it, but yet we get it for free. I don't get that. But anyway, the fact that you even have to switch streaming services to begin with is already a pain in the ass. To have to follow these damn fights, I don't think anybody's going to tune into this fucking fight.
No, there's not.
Let alone pay, I should say.
I'm not. I'm not, and I'm one of the biggest boxing fans there are. You're not. You're a diehard. Like, come on. Read the room just from us two, DAZN. Like, what? It doesn't even make sense. Bro, I'm not getting off Beterbiev versus Bivol's telecast. I'm not doing it. DAZN's telecast sucks. Your feed sucks. Your commentators suck. Your main event sucks. Like, dude, there's not a lot there. I'm sorry, Shakur. I'm hoping that that's a fucking bullshit story.
Yeah.
And that His Excellency is going to put both of these fights. 'Cause look, this was the fight that was supposed to be on ESPN for free.
Right.
not ESPN Plus. You remember that when they first signed Bivol versus Beterbiev?
Beterbiev, yeah.
They said His Excellency gave both promotional companies so much money that they were able to take it off of their networks. The networks were going to show it. ESPN was going to air it live, and DAZN was going to air it. But we weren't going to have to pay for it. That's how much money he gave them. Bob Arum told us this. That's how much money he had given for Beterbiev to fight. That ESPN was so happy with it, they're like, we won't even charge. We're going to put it on for free. Why is DAZN changing their mind? Why is DAZN? It's almost like they're setting themselves up to lose here. Who the fuck is in that board meeting that goes, Shakur Stevenson on pay-per-view is that's where we need to go? The guy just got fucking hammered on the internet for being one of the fucking boringest fighters out there. Dudes, what was it? Cameron and them, Mace were sleeping on their radio show to Shakur, and you want to take him to pay-per-view?
I like, like, can you imagine that meeting? Like the dude is like, pay-per-view, like, oh, great, pay-per-view, Shakur, all right, cool, against Zepeda. No, Cordina. Like it's like
it must be an all English board. It has to be. They're like, oh yeah, it's a good fight. I like that kid. The kid's good. You guys seen your record versus Mexicans? The Americans ain't anything better, man. For reals. Guys come over here and get handled all the fucking time. Eddie's been using them dudes for a while, but whatever. Yeah, that's a dumb, man, like I said, that's a dumb plan. That's a dumb plan for Shakur. I can't see, Bob Arum is going to be laughing somewhere, especially when these numbers come in.
Gonna be, I mean, like, here's the thing. It's going to be a split broadcast, right? It's going to be part of it, well, according to this at least. Whether it's true or not, we'll find out in time. But that means that ESPN or ESPN Plus, because it's going to be on ESPN Plus, is going to have their own undercard, right? And that's probably what we're going to end up watching. So I can damn near, we're going to see it already. Bob Arum is going to be ringside for Beterbiev and Bivol. I mean, like, yeah, nobody's watching that shit over there. Everybody's watching this, right? Like, you know that fucker in his mind, it's going to be like, that dude made the biggest mistake, Shakur I'm talking about. So, yes, to add that to what you were saying, I can guarantee you he's going to be thinking about that. Like, no one is watching that pay-per-view. Who the hell thought that was a good idea? Just have it on the same day. And mind you, HBO has done that before. They've done where, like, a show elsewhere, like a split broadcast, right? But not on fucking pay-per-view, for fuck's sake. They'll do a broadcast in Germany or something that'll be what's his name, Klitschko, and then they'll come back and then we'll watch it, right? It happens. It's not like that in and of itself is strange, but the fact that we have to switch streaming services if we're going to do that, and on top of that, pay for Shakur against somebody we're not familiar with. I mean, was that one of the carrot on the stick that they had for Shakur? Like, we're not going to pay you a lot. We can't pay you what fucking Bob Arum was willing to offer you, but we'll put it on pay-per-view. Oh, what? I'll be a pay-per-view star? Fuck yeah. Oh, let's do it. Like, oh, come on. Like that had to be something that brought Shakur, one of the factors that brought Shakur over to Matchroom.
And what doesn't make sense, Miguel, is why are they even tying these two fights together? Because when you look at the post, it looks like Shakur is the co-main event to Beterbiev and Bivol, right? Mm-hmm. Why are they doing that if they're two separate cards? Mm-hmm. When were these cards ever going to be the same? I guess is my question. They're not, right? Because Shakur can't be on ESPN Plus if he's doing his own pay-per-view main event. Right. So he's not the co-main event. Mm-hmm. I think that article has to be off. That article has to be off because His Excellency wouldn't do. His Excellency is shooting himself in the foot, it sort of seems like. He pays all this money to get this showdown from two guys from two different networks, Beterbiev, ESPN, Bivol, DAZN, to go in the ring to fight each other. Oh, but here, let me do some side money betting, too. I want to do Shakur over here on a pay-per-view. Why? You're taking away... I know it probably won't happen, but what if there's Shakur fans that buy his telecast and not the Beterbiev Bivol fight? Now you just took viewerships away from the big fight that you were giving to all the boxing. That was his gift to us. Does anyone remember? That was his gift to boxing. That's what he said. I'm gonna make the best fights that can't be made. Everyone knew that those two, they didn't make enough money to give them both enough to fight each other. That's what Bob Arum said the holdup was. Bivol and Beterbiev both wanted a certain amount of money that American television just couldn't offer. Right? His Excellency steps in and offers it to both men, gets both guys a fight. Now let's go shoot ourselves in the foot by putting on another fight same night, different platform, and we're gonna charge pay-per-view.
And here's the thing. This is so and this is what I don't get, the way the article mentions it, or the way it describes it. It says Shakur Stevenson versus Cordina will reportedly now headline DAZN's pay-per-view undercard event. So it's like, all right, I mean, that if you're headlining the undercard, that sort of sounds like a co-main event. I mean, again, I'm throwing in that word myself.
I'm wondering
what it sounds like.
What? Okay, the Bivol versus Bivol Beterbiev, is that a one fight thing on ESPN? You know how ESPN does that every now? They don't have a whole fight card. They would just have like the two fights. Right? You're tuned in at 7 and you're off at 9.
But if you tune into ESPN Plus, you get, because I never watch.
Yeah, you get all those bullshit fights.
Yeah,
those fights take 25,000 to put together, though. I mean, those are showcase fights with, those are a lot of. Bob Arum can do that. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's only going to be a build-up show and a main event. They've done that too, where they didn't even have it. It was probably more through the COVID era. But I remember seeing just a build-up show, main event, and then telecast was over for ESPN on some of their fights also.
Yeah, I don't remember that, because I mean, like I said, I generally always watch that on ESPN Plus, and I always got more fights there. Because here's the thing, I actually don't have ESPN. I have ESPN Deportes, which is like the Spanish version, because I have what is it, Dish Network, but Dish Latino, which is like the Spanish package, and we get ESPN Deportes, and there they only have a couple of fights, but more often than not, I don't watch it there. My dad watches it there, but I generally just watch it on ESPN Plus, so I get more fights there. So rarely do I ever actually tune in to ESPN, because obviously I don't have that channel. But what I do, the few times that it has been on ESPN Deportes, I don't remember if they had the whole fight card or just two, like you said. Sometimes it is just two, because the TV guide will show just a few hours blocked off for boxing. So it could be, because there are times where they have both a UFC card and a boxing card on ESPN Deportes, but they'll air the UFC card first, and then afterwards the boxing card, which generally is just a few hours. So not that much actually. So I think maybe that's what they're doing, was just the two fight cards. Two fight cards. Because I mean, I don't get how, if I were to tune into ESPN Plus for Beterbiev and Bivol, am I going to get a completely different undercard? Like I assume I will be, right? Because I don't even know where are these fights taking place. I mean, they said Riyadh, right? Riyadh.
Yeah.
But all of them in the same arena? Because that just seems
so.
Like it's
for DAZN, DAZN is saying that Shakur is going to fight that Jaya Patia, the cruiserweight. Did you remember that guy that fought on the last card?
Yes. Who's going to fight that guy?
The Jaya Patia, the cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Then Stevenson, and then some WBC featherweight women's champion. So that seems like that's the DAZN's fight undercard. That's DAZN's undercard leading up to Bivol.
Does it say pay-per-view or no?
Yes, I think this one anticipated. Let me see. It just says who's fighting on the undercard. One of the most anticipated fights, 2024, October 12th. Before the two men do battle, a packed undercard with two world ranks had been announced. It's not saying anything about pay-per-view here. What channel? Broadcast details have not been confirmed at the time of this writing. So at the time of this writing, it hadn't been confirmed on broadcasting. It's supposed to take place at the Riyadh. Where is it happening? Ticket information, blah, blah, blah. So now it says now I'm going to go to this article that says Beterbiev Boxing News 24/7. Beterbiev Bivol headlined ESPN Plus. So this one says Stevenson will headline the DAZN pay-per-view. The Beterbiev Bivol light heavyweight undisputed championship fight will show in a split network fight on ESPN. I'm telling you, dude, it's a one-fight thing. I don't think ESPN is going to have two fights. You know, I want to say they did that when they used to go out of the country for like not Horn, but who's the kid that just keeps losing out there?
That keeps losing out there?
Yeah, the kid that beat Lopez.
Oh, Cambosos?
Cambosos. I want to say when they showed one of his fights, they only showed his fight. ESPN only showed his fight, and they had like they had like a build-up show before it. And I remember being like, "Oh, that's it." It was such a to me, it was such a not a entertaining. You know, you basically turn it on. They're like, "Hi, welcome to the main event." You're like, what the fuck? All right, I guess it's the main event. Here we go. Like it was so lackluster, I guess the word. But I want to say they've done it before, and that's what it sounds like is happening on this one. Maybe Bob might not have shit. Bob's like, man, that's all I got.
Yeah, I pulled it up on another. I mean, it's kind of the same. It's like Boxing 24/7. This other website, same thing. Is it Beterbiev Bivol to headline ESPN Plus? Stevenson Cordina on DAZN pay-per-view in unique split. So, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Shakur will headline the October 12th pay-per-view. Event on DAZN pay-per-view. Beterbiev Bivol light heavyweight undisputed championship will be shown in a split network fight on ESPN Plus. So what? That's so weird. Fans will need to pay to see Shakur make a tune-up against Joe Cordina on DAZN pay-per-view, whereas Top Rank will show Beterbiev versus Bivol undisputed fight as part of the normal ESPN Plus subscription. The split. Technically, Shakur's fight against Joe Cordina will be on the Beterbiev undercard at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's just that the Stevenson Cordina fight and the remaining undercard fights will be chopped off and placed on DAZN pay-per-view, while the meat and potatoes, Beterbiev and Bivol, will be on ESPN Plus.
Yeah,
What
see,
fuck? That's whack.
DAZN is hella stupid for this. Instead of giving Shakur all of that, and you know what? Maybe Bob was like, "Fuck you, you ain't on my bill." Maybe Bob had something to do with.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Bob doesn't want him on ESPN Plus. If he ain't under Top Rank, go do your own pay-per-view with DAZN. Maybe he's not allowed to be on ESPN.
Okay.
Right? And their egos got the better of them. They're like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make hella money. They're not. First fucking comment on it says, great. Now fans can see a very intriguing main event without having to purchase and watch a turd of an undercard. I think that's what ESPN's doing. We're getting one fight that night. It's going to be Beterbiev versus Bivol. They're going to show us a half an hour of how we got there to then the fight.
Damn. That fucking blows.
Yeah,
that blows so bad. What I don't get, and you would think, like, and mind you, this is like
remember, Miguel, this was the fight card that was supposed to have all of those badass fights on it, right? Wasn't this one of those big Zoo Ortiz? I thought Bivol versus Ortiz was one of Rihad's big fights that he was putting together. It was his gift to boxing.
I remember that, yeah, but it was separate from this. Wasn't it supposed to be on that?
I don't know. Oh yeah, Crawford and Monjarov. Yeah. You're right. I would have to go look up what the first announcement was for this Bivol Beterbiev fight. But yeah, this thing is totally.
Because here's the thing, I get it. Stevenson is gone from Top Rank and ESPN and ESPN Plus basically, but wouldn't I don't get the point of making it a pay-per-view. Let's just say DAZN,
that's what I know.
Right? Let's just say DAZN, right? And they lured Shakur in. Hey, you're gonna be, you're gonna main event a card, yada yada yada. If they're gonna, because you're gonna have to switch. You're gonna have to switch streaming services anyway. But wouldn't you want to have your fight viewed by most people, knowing they're gonna be on the undercard of Beterbiev and Bivol. Like, wouldn't that be better than to have to pay for that shit? Like, I don't get
Who made this?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I mean, I understand Shakur's where he's coming from, because he's like, what? I'm gonna be on pay-per-view and I'm in the main event. Fantastic, great. I'm gonna defend my WBC lightweight title against Cordina. Cool, I'm all about it. But where for as well, what what's his name? Eddie Hearn told Devin Haney that one time when Haney was talking about nobody, putting enough money for the purse bid, right, for himself. And Eddie Hearn says, well, why don't you fucking put it? You're a promoter, right? All right. He doesn't want to spend that kind of money on something like that, but he's gonna put this on pay-per-view. It's gonna lose money. That's duh. Who
The biggest fight. Let me explain this to you guys one more time. The biggest fight, most anticipated fight of this year is going to be for free. But then Eddie and DAZN came up with an idea to make us pay anyways. I'm not paying. The most anticipated fight, Eddie, is for free already, dumbass. Now you want me to turn around and still give you money even though the fight that I want is for free. This is the stupidest business plan I've ever that boxing could put out. I'm telling you, under 75,000. I'm going to go under 50,000. I don't even think it's going to reach 50,000 buys.
What if it's $40? Still no?
No.
Because I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to charge, but I'm just saying,
because Shakur's he's not a household name. He's not a household name. Nope. No, because darn it, I get my Saturday and I get to come home at a time and get a main event that I hella want to see right off the bat. It kind of sucks. I like undercards. I'm a boxing fan, but
yeah, of course.
But if you're telling me no, just on this day it's better be Bivol, cool. I'm cool with that. That whole undercard, I give a fuck about Chris Eubank. I give a fuck about Hayi Opatai, whatever the fuck that dude's name is, the cruiserweight. I don't care about any of those guys. Not pay-per-view care. If it was for free, I'd watch you guys, but not pay-per-view care. And then your main event to be Shakur versus some nobody, and both of them have no power. One guy has 9 knockouts. The other guy we already know doesn't have any pop. What are we doing here?
Let alone pay for it. Because I'm a fan, I'm okay with switching streaming services if I need to, because I've done that shit. I've had my laptop, my desktop, and my TV on 3 different streaming services at the same time. So I'll do that. And if it was for free, I would totally do it. But how in the hell, and considering, I mean, they had to have looked at, the report of Shakur's last fight doing like 1 million fucking views or some shit, right, on ESPN, because supposedly his numbers were big on ESPN Plus or whatever the hell it was on his last fight. Shakur I'm talking about. So that has to be what they're thinking. Oh shit, clearly people watch that, so they're willing to pay, because what else can they go off of?
I don't know, and I don't like dude, do you know how hard it is to throw a party and have that many platforms you have to bounce around to? Like, we're talking about Miguel, you're talking about you're talking about you and your house, so you can do that. But could you imagine if you liked getting together with friends and family to watch boxing? I know boxing, you guys might not think there's families that still watch your sport, but there are. Do we really want 3 fucking platforms we have to bounce around to watch this thing? And I'm going to tell you, it's happened before, and it was a downer in the party. When you keep switching telecasts and you have to start listening to what they're saying, oh, what is this? Oh, this is the other fight. It's the fight of the... It takes away from the entertainment of just sitting down, watching the fight, hearing what they have to say, communicating off of it. You don't see it anywhere else. You don't see it in the NFL. You don't see it in baseball. We're scratching. We're fucking scratching for pennies here. Shakur's scratching right now. That's what they're doing. I mean, I don't even know how DAZN thinks they're going to piggyback off of this. They're not. Nobody is buying this fight because of Beterbiev versus Bivol later on that night. You dumbasses, that one's for free.
See, this is what I'm thinking, and this is one of the recent posts from his last fight with Artem Harutyunyan. Was the most watched boxing main event aired on ESPN in 2024. Average audience on the network was 1.18 million, peaked at 1.25. Those Nielsen numbers don't include ESPN Plus viewership. So this apparently is just regular ESPN. So the fight was on regular ESPN. That has to be the only reason why they think, oh, great, you did fantastic numbers on ESPN. Clearly, people want to see you fight. Boom, put you on pay per view, and they were just, I don't know, Matchroom and Eddie was just feeding Shakur the Kool Aid. Like, here you go, but here you go. Yeah, they did hell numbers. We'll put you on pay per view. So he's like, oh fuck yeah, pay per view, cool. Don't matter who the fuck it is, because people watch me and they're gonna pay to watch me fight. What else can they go off of other than those numbers they did
Yeah,
on
no, I don't
ESPN
know.
Plus?
I don't know what this game plan, what they were thinking of when they set this up. Even at $40, I don't see the diehards buying this thing. Chris Eubank is an afterthought, right? The guy had a little bit of momentum. That has went away big time. The other dude, I only know him from his excellency putting him on with the Tyson Fury card. I think he was on with the champ Usyk.
Yeah.
Usyk. I believe that guy was on that fight card. It's the only reason why I know him. Americans don't watch fucking cruiserweights. We don't. Um, and then Shakur, and those numbers, while they were good when they were announced, we seen what the backlash, or was it the response of the fans were after the fight. So even though they could say he did 1.9 million homes or the most homes of this year and blah blah blah, what was the response? You're boring. I was asleep.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
were they tweeting?
Think about that. Think about that
Yeah,
for a second. That got so much exposure and shit the bed. Like,
yeah,
you would think if there was hella people watching and you put on one hell of a show, it would make them want to watch you again. But
right.
if you had that many eyes on you and took a major shit in front of everybody and stunk the whole house up, what the hell are they gonna think?
And
What?
that's not his first time. Remember the fight
Yeah,
before that? He stunk up the. They were booing at the end of the fight.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
No, no. It's
what
one
what
thing.
were they tweeting? This is what you watch when you want to go to bed or you have insomnia. That Tank Davis fucking tweeted out sleeping things. Ryan ate him alive. Like, dude, I don't, whatever. Like I said, man, that's Bob Arum's gonna be laughing. I know he's 95. It really doesn't matter to Bob anymore. But Top Rank is gonna be laughing at this one. This is a Telefimo like fuck up. Telefimo goes a Triller, never even pulls it off, has to come back. I mean, this is going to be worse than that because the zone has the money to actually go forward with this fucking piece of shit pay-per-view that's going to make Stevenson's market probably even drop lower when they start making fun of how many pay-per-view buys he got, right? They stink when Tank and Ryan and all them get the news on he only did 10,000 buys.
Realistically, you mentioned it earlier, but let's go ahead and get an official prediction. How many buys do you think this is gonna get?
Under 50,000.
Under 50,000, huh?
Under 50,000 because he has nothing supporting him. He doesn't have a opponent that's supporting him, and he doesn't have an undercard that's supporting him. I don't think there's any Americans that know that a Patai guy, the WBC featherweight lady, or Chris Eubank Jr., the diehards know. There's no casuals that know him. And unfortunately, the fight card for the diehards is a streaming card. That's one we're gonna go out there and illegally stream. We're not fucking buying this shit. We'll definitely look into it because we're all waiting for Bivol versus Beterbiev. We'll definitely be watching you on the black market most likely. That'll be one of those. Oh, 1 million people stole the fight. Those are so common now, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, did our numbers suck? Guess what? 50 million people stole the fight from us.
Yeah, blame it on us. Blame it on us, guys. That not the shitty undercard, not the shitty opponent. No, of course.
Mike Tyson and them never had to worry about a black box, but
Yeah.
boy, you guys sure are. Where I got no coffee. Damn it.
Yeah. Oh man, it's
You guys
too late
sure
for
are.
coffee already.
I want to do my Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, but it ain't my business. Yeah, that's and then here's the thing though, like let's say for the sake of argument that I don't tune into the undercard, but I tune into ESPN Plus because it's going to be on ESPN Plus, the main event. Am I not going to get an undercard at all on ESPN
You're
Plus?
not.
Like
I keep telling you that, bro. You're not.
fuck.
Hey, you know what? The Klitschko fights were one of those. The ones you brought up, those fights used to not have undercards. You're absolutely right on those ones too. They used to just show the Klitschko main event from Germany. Remember, it would be like buttoned up with like a replay of the fight of a fight the week before or some shit.
Yeah.
But those ones too, dude, no undercard, just the main event. So yes, it has happened, and the way those things are being worded, it looks like that's where Beterbiev, because Miguel, it was probably ESPN and DAZN couldn't come together on a fight card. Maybe Top Rank was like, your guys fucking suck, or you know what I mean? They couldn't come together on a price to make a pay-per-view collabo. I don't know, like sort of what PBC did with Wilder and Fury. You know what I mean? They came together and made a pay-per-view
like
together.
Co-promotion or something.
Yeah, yes. Maybe they couldn't do that. And yeah, Bob said, "No, you guys just bought my one guy. I'm only giving you my one guy."
Damn, because I mean, I'll pull it up on one of my sites that I like to watch. But on ESPN Plus, I wonder if they're just gonna show like replays of Beterbiev fights or something like that. I mean, because they're not gonna have rights to the zone undercard,
No,
right? So it's just gonna be, or does the programming just start right as the main event starts?
They will probably start it. Say it's a 8 o'clock main event, right? That's usually when main events go off. So the telecast will start at 7. They're going to give us a half an hour of, hi, this is ESPN, welcome to the fight, commercials, all that. And then at some point, they are going to do a build-up show to that fight. It's going to be a build-up show, dude, for at least a half an hour of how we got here. We go to both of their amateur careers. They're going to show us Bivol beat Canelo 15,000 times before the fucking main event goes off.
And they're going to show us history. Like, when was the last time the light heavyweight championship was unified? And they're going to go into, like, Roy Jones and shit.
Yeah.
They'll definitely, they'll do the card filler. I mean, the time killers, right?
Yep.
Damn. Well, the more and more I read into it, the more and more that I pull it up, it looks more legitimate. Like that's what I'm hearing. I haven't pulled it up because the first thing I did is I Google like the zone pay-per-view Shakur, and then I got more articles about this. So
that's what I did, bro.
Yeah.
That's that. When I Googled it, it's all over the web as it's a split telecast. So it seems like that's what we're getting.
I don't know who's willing to pay for that, and I don't know. I mean, again, I know how Shakur's. I would have to assume Shakur's thinking that, all right, great, pay-per-view, fantastic, I'm there. I'm main eventing. I don't understand. I mean, your scenario makes more sense. Bob saying like, fuck this.
Bob was probably like, hey, His Excellency gave us $5 million to have Beterbiev. We're only paying Beterbiev 1.5. Let's just pocket the rest and fuck the undercard. Eddie's like, we're going to put all the money on the table. We're going to double our money. They're going to fucking lose out. You watch. It's going to be another losing pay-per-view event for Eddie Hearn. Let's just hope his guy doesn't lose. And I know Stevenson probably won't. He's better than a lot of the other guys Eddie Hearn has had. But Eddie's fumbled this ball more than one time. Canelo stepping up. Andy Ruiz stepping in for Anthony Joshua, and Daniel Jacobs' first fight. Yeah, let's take him to fucking England. Loses out there on the decision. It's like he's fumbled this ball a few times, I think every single British prospect he had is lost to a Mexican with 17 losses. It's like he's fumbled so many of these. Shakur, you sure? You sure? Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and like I can I can imagine the conversation of like Shakur and what's his name and Eddie. It's like look what it did for Canelo. Look at different. It's like I got all these English guys here. Like basically that's what his promotion has become, is just basically jobbers. Like a bunch of opponents. Like boom, I'm gonna get these guys on my platform on DAZN. I got plenty of guys back here who want to fight you. Big names, doesn't fucking matter. Boom, we have an
Takes Mikey Garcia to Fresno. The
Oh
fuck?
yeah.
What the? And then he loses. He's like, all right, so you took him to fucking nowhere. He has no fans, and then he loses the fight. Some dude from isn't Sandiro from Spain? Was he?
from
Is he
from
from?
Spain or Argentina, one of those two. I don't know.
So
I forget which
yeah,
one.
he
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
even from fucking California himself. He beats him like Eddie.
yeah. I don't think this is gonna do that, but I mean, the only silver lining, if you want to call it that, is that chances are it's gonna be another one-sided, relatively boring decision for Shakur, and nobody's gonna watch it. So
The
I don't.
the
I don't.
over is gonna be like plus 10 grand.
Yeah. The over
9
10
and
and a half
11
rounds.
knockouts.
Yeah. Oh god, damn! I don't know what these guys are talking about. I don't know what they're thinking, but anyway, that was one of the topics that I wanted to toss in here. Again, there's not much news, and we're probably short, a little short under the 2 hours. There was nothing else that we wanted to talk about, but we wanted to throw that last one in there because Jesus Christ, I don't know. When I read that about the split telecast, I was like, what the hell? Okay. But anyway, Andrew, is there anything else that you want to pull up real quick to see if there's any sort of, um, you know, last minute nothing or other?
I've been on the internet all night. You guys see me looking down on my phone this whole time, but I just there's really nothing right now, man.
Fair enough.
Hey, you know what? Got to give it to even Ryan. He's staying out of the fucking news. You know what I mean? He has little posts every now and then, but overall, even that kid's kind of shaped up and just been able to stay away. So yeah, boxing is really on a downside when Ryan Garcia is not even tweeting.
Yeah, even when Ryan's not interested in getting into people's conversations, he's like, yeah, let's. I'll pack it in. I'm good for now. Well, there's only really only thing else. There's some boxing later this weekend. On Saturday the 31st. Is it 31st or when the fuck is Saturday? Let me pull up my fucking calendar here real quick. But super middleweight, young
31st, yes,
prospect,
sir.
Diego Pacheco is back. He's going to be on DAZN here on this Saturday. It's going to be pretty decent card. I mean, nothing spectacular by any stretch, but there's going to be plenty of fights. Something good to watch on a Saturday. There's going to be much more of a boxing card than there was last week or this last weekend, of course. But anyway, yeah, young super middleweight up and comer. A name to remember. Diego Pacheco is going to be on DAZN this weekend. So yeah, something to
I
watch, I
feel like
guess.
I feel like he's been a prospect for a very long time.
Um, I
Oh,
don't know how long. It's been it's been a minute. Yeah, I will
because
say that.
doesn't he come from PBC? Isn't Pacheco a PBC kid prospect?
Um, no, I think he's been to zone for a minute, but he's been in that same like position for a hot minute because
Okay.
he's a young cat, you know. But yeah, I'm almost certain because, matter of fact, come to think of it, I went to watch. I went to Texas to watch Jesse Vargas and Mikey Garcia in 2020, 21, 20, and he was on the other card of that. So he's been with the zone
Eesh.
at least that long.
So he's been a
So
prospect for 4 years.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to step this up soon,
Yeah,
kid.
and it's going to be in LA. They're going to fight at the Home Depot Center or whatever the
Oh,
fuck you call it
nice.
now. But
Yeah,
there's always a different name for it. What was the other one? I forget. It was Home Depot Center, and then it was changed to
Carson. Oh no, that was
yeah.
the
It is the
city.
Carson one. You're right. It is the Carson one, but it's what was it? It's now called Dignity Sports Health Park, yada yada yada. But it had another name before. It was like Home Depot Center and then StubHub Center, and then it became this. So that's where they're gonna that's where he's gonna fight. And you can go on the DAZN app and take a look at the start times. But hey, there's better boxing that weekend than there was with Floyd and fucking this weekend, Floyd and Gotti the third. But nonetheless, that pretty much wraps it up, guys. We're only a few minutes short of 2 hours. So thank you for listening to us ramble on a very, very, very slow news week for professional boxing. And on the rare occasion that there is any boxing on, any good boxing, I should say, we try to stretch the show out as much as we can. So thank you so much once more for joining us. And sorry for the late show. We had, Andrew had to throw a barbecue on Sunday. So,
Oh yeah, my daughter came home. Oh man, I missed that part. Yeah, she
yeah.
said, "Sorry, Miguel." She surprised me. She came home and first question I asked was, "What do you want for dinner?" And she said, "Tri-tip," and that's me barbecuing. So I went to Safeways without even thinking. Fucking fired up the grill, out there cooking. I look at my watch. I was like, "Oh, this is 7:05." I think when I got a hold of you, like, "Oh, I totally blew it, dude. I just fired up the grill." So my bad, bro.
But it's a nice way to end the weekend.
Yes.
So we'll get this posted as soon as we can. Thank you all once more for joining us. We'll see you guys next week with something else. I guess Diego Pacheco results. So thank you for joining us once more. Enjoy the rest of your week. Peace.